I think we saw a little something from the Buffalo Bills on Sunday night. And yes, the Niners were depleted. And that Niners team is obviously in a very difficult spot now where they're kind of caught in the in between, where some of their players are aging. George Kittle's older, beat up. Trent Williams, older, beat up. It feels like some of their defensive players that aren't as old, Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, the mileage on their body starting to take a toll. Christian McCaffrey at the running back position, obviously, it feels like all of the work that he's gotten since he came into the league may finally be starting to add up. This is his 8th NFL season, which is deep into a running back career. So yes, the Bills took advantage of all of that. But I thought what was really cool about what Buffalo did, and I'm going to sound like a broken record here with the run game, like I'm taking everybody in a time machine back to 1985, but the run game is really important when we get to this time of year. And one of the criticisms against Buffalo over the last few years has been that they play like a dome team. For a team that's in Western New York and has to play in the elements, it's almost felt like at points like they've been at a disadvantage playing in the elements. And this Buffalo team that rolled out there on Sunday night was not that team. They rushed for 220 yards. They leaned in the passing game when they needed to, but like they weren't reliant on it. They weren't constantly in long yardage, which is a tough place to be when the wind's swirling and the snow is falling. And they played great defense. And, I think a huge part of where they are right now is the depth of their roster, the balance of their roster. They're not, I think like over the last year or two, maybe they started to fall into the trap of becoming a little too reliant on one great player. And I think that's why the Chiefs beat them the last couple of years. If you look at it like where, the Chiefs traded Tyreek Hill, and Tyreek's a great player, no question about it. But, given the choice with a big quarterback contract on the books, they chose to build a roster that was balanced, that wasn't overly reliant on one element because of the one great player that's there. And he's not the only great player in Kansas City. Obviously, Chris Jones and Travis Kelce are there, but they chose to build a more balanced roster. I think Buffalo made that choice when they were faced with the realities of having a big quarterback contract here this offseason in particular. And you can see it with the depth across their roster and how they're able to beat you with multiple people. And so their running game is James Cook, but it's also Ty Johnson and Ray Davis. In the passing game, you see it with Amari Cooper and Khalil Shakir and Dalton Knox. And this week, they were able to do it without Dalton Kincaid out there. And then the defense has answers all over the place. And it's Greg Rousseau, it's Ed Oliver, it's Von Miller coming back and contributing now. You see a team that's balanced, that can win different ways, and that now is an all-weather team. And so my big takeaway from Bills Niners would be where the Niners are, but I was just so impressed with where the Bills are too. I think it's the reality of looking where you're at and the reality of knowing the games that you're going to have to win. And, they're kind of like a college football blue blood now. When you've got a quarterback like that, you're kind of like a college football blue blood where you should win 60, 70% of your games rolling out of bed. And really how you're going to be judged is how you win the remaining 20 to 30%. And because of the way the calendar sets up and because of where the Bills are located, a good chance that a good chunk of those games, those remaining games that are going to be what you're judged on, are going to be played in the elements, are going to be played in cold weather. And I think it's a team that's much more equipped now to win in cold weather, and to win in the elements and to win in those high leverage situations than it has been in the past. And that's, I think, a credit to maybe some people with the Bills looking in the mirror and building the team a little bit differently. And I think now you see a Bills team again that's more equipped to win in January. And for my money right now, probably should be the favorite to come out of the AFC and win the Super Bowl. Or again, get to the Super Bowl. I'm not going to say win the Super Bowl, get to the Super Bowl.